is in first place there at the top of the league. Cosmetically, it seems like more pressure is on them than VCU because of strength of schedule and some of the victories that VCU has had already. They could get an at-large bid.
Gilmore misses an easy one inside. George Mason now with a chance to get back to within 3. There's a 3. And how about getting back to within 2? Livingston's first 3. Gilmore has it inside again. This time gives it up and loses it. Here comes Ian Boyd. 3-on-2. Livingston thought about another 3. And the follow from Calixte. That's only his second miss of the night. Rams lead remains at 2.
With VCU defensively loading up on Otis Livingston and Justin Kier being out of the flow, let's see who for them steps up and starts to score. I really think it's going to be a guy like number 32, Ian Boyd. He's one of those X factors, one of those guys that can start to knock down some shots.
Calixte inside has 12 points. And the 2 is just 2 points. Foot on the line, and they gave him 3, and George Mason leads by 1. They trailed by 14 in the second half. Gilmore for 3. And now the Rams lead by 2. Excuse me, the Rams lead by 3.
Yes.
Greg Calixte lost it. Out to Michael Sims. Gilmore with another 3. Give it to the big fella beyond the arc.
He came into the game shooting 17% from three-point range.
But when you look at it, when Santos Silva was setting that high ball screen, he was diving to the basket. Gilmore, a little bit better shooter. Instead of diving, he's popping. And the defense, they're waiting on the roll guy, and he's never coming. He's out there behind the three-point line.
VCU on a quick 6-0 run. Livingston kicks it out. 3 no good. Rebounder Williams. Sims with a 3. 9-0 VCU run. VCU gets hot from beyond the arc. They push the lead back to 9.
Let me take it.
VCU now 10 for 27 shooting threes, which isn't great, but they've made their last 3. George Mason is just 2 for 14 from that distance.
But look at how they got these last few jump shots. Off a ball movement, the roll and replace. Gilmore steps out, knocks it down. Again, now off of penetration, there's the ball movement, it goes to the post. They look and throw opposite. What's ironic about those last 2 baskets and about the run that we just saw by VCU, the 5 subs were in the game. Those weren't their starting 5. Those were the 5 backups. And that goes a long way for your ball club as you start to get closer and closer to tournament play.
You talk about VCU shooting the 3. They entered the game 330th nationally in three-point shooting percentage. And I was talking with Mike Rose before the game, and what he said was he thought his team was about a 36% shooting team coming into the season. He likes the shots they're getting. He likes the guys getting the shots. They're just not going in. Well, tonight, they're going in.
Livingston with the miss on the offensive end, then gets called for the foul on defense. It's only his second foul. His teammate Justin Kier, top scorer and rebounder for the Patriots, remains on the bench with 4 fouls. This is certainly worth repeating as George Mason 2 for 14 from three-point range, 10 for 27. That's what VCU is. And number 22, Gilmore, with a season-high 11 points. Reuter to Livingston, behind the back to Reuter. Takes it all the way up and in. Jared Reuter now in double figures. Santos Silva back in the game. Goes up strong. Livingston with a rebound. Livingston somehow finds a way in. Miller with 2. 4 consecutive points for the Patriots.
Somehow being the operative word. I thought Otis Livingston burned a lot of calories on that possession right there. It found Miller open under the basket.
Jordan Miller called for the foul there against George Mason. Patriots still hanging around inside of 8 minutes, trailing by 5. Welcome back to Richmond, Virginia. VCU on top of George Mason by 5. VCU very strong here at home. You look what they've done here recently, and they are 10-1 at home here this season. And now 7:54 left, in control of this game by 5. They were up by 14, and George Mason came all the way back to tie it up. But the Rams have been hot from three-point land.
If you're a VCU, you're still not in a good place mentally, because every time you've tried to extend the lead, every time you've tried to get separation, George Mason, they found a way to get back in this thing. They haven't been able to get up and get a comfortable lead in terms of a rhythm and a cadence to the game. So if you're VCU, you still have to execute. You still have to continue to rotate defensively, and communication has to be extremely high right now.
Isaac Van now with 11 points. Ram lead up to 7 points. Justin Kier back in. He has 4 fouls. Reuter out to Miller, already with a double-double tonight. To the senior Livingston, tough runner there. Got the 2, wanted the foul. Now George Mason needs a stop. Jenkins for 3. Strong rebound for Green, and back comes Livingston. Avoids another trap there. They kick it inside to Reuter. Back out to Green. And Green just can't find it now. 0 for 4 shooting threes inside of 7 minutes now. VCU lead at 5, and they have the ball.
But that's the shot that has to fall for George Mason. You saw good ball movement. It went inside. The defense collapsed. They threw it out and just couldn't convert.
But that move from Van. Couple of free throws for their previous 2 points, and then the pretty drive to put them back up by 7. Livingston had Reuter for a moment. Goes with another floater. No. Jenkins with a rebound. Out to Mobley.
Guys, if I'm George Mason, I'd look at going to Reuter on the low block. He had some success early on in the first half. They're not doubling. You know, if they can find him on that low block and let him go to work, that may be another avenue for them to be able to generate some points.
Van scoring every way you can here the last couple of minutes. 2 free throws, a drive, and now a 3. Foul called against Van there.
When you're option 1, which is Marcus Evans, and your option 2, which has been, for the most part this year, De'Riante Jenkins, when you have the third guy on the perimeter in Isaac Van, who could flow and get you points off the bounce, he's knocking down threes, you know, that goes a long way, because then what happens? You can't load up on the other guys. He's been in rhythm. They've done a good job at making it difficult for Marcus Evans. They've done a good job at making it difficult for De'Riante Jenkins at times, and that X factor so far in today's game has been Isaac Van.
George Mason, we talked to Dave Paulson earlier today, pointed out a couple of times they've held the last 11 opponents under 70 points, and VCU awfully close to breaking that one. And that lead is back to double digits. Turnover. Mobley has it, gives it to Van. Van has a team-high 16 points. He was one of 4 Rams in double figures in their win last weekend against Duquesne. Follows that up with 16 here tonight. Double team, gets it to Mobley. Out to Mike Elson, steps back, thought about the 3, takes it all the way in. And that's a Ram turnover.
When you look at this game and you dive into the numbers and start to look at the different things or the different factors that have weighed in terms of so far VCU having the league, I've got to go to the bench. The substitute guys, the substitution guys. You know, when you take a look at it, Michael Gilmore, he's come in, done an outstanding job. So far here in the second half, P.J. Bird, he's lost a lot of floor time. You know, he's done a lot of penetrating and pitching, played a lot of solid defense. So I think the support guys have done a great job for VCU.
And that's the difference in the game right now because George Mason hasn't gotten that.
Nifty move inside by Boyd. Lead back to single digits at 8. Push it up to Van, and he's fouled by Calix.
Again, it's a subtle thing. But P.J. Bird got the inbound pass, had his head up, got it ahead right away. What did that do? That put pressure on the half-court defense of George Mason that was slow getting back in transition.
Getting those chances in transition is so important as well because then you don't have to go up against George Mason's set defense. And as we've seen, VCU's had some trouble with that in this game.
Isaac Van averaging 11 points per game. He had 11 last weekend, now has 17. Getting it done inside and outside.
Number 4 on this finish returns for George Mason. He spells Jason Douglas.
6'6" junior out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. Comes to VCU by way of a little bit of time in Maine. He's made his last 4 free throws, and now that lead is back up to 10. Well, we've seen George Mason come back from a 14-point second-half lead here tonight, but the clock is ticking as we approach 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Kyer's just 1 for 9 tonight. Now he's 1 for 10. Van with another board. And now VCU can afford to be awfully patient on the offensive end.
And it's not just been the person guarding Kyer or the person guarding Otis Livingston. It's been the support. It's been the rotation guys. They've been right there, and they've made their lives miserable all night.
Have a night, Isaac Van. 19 points with a chance for 20.
When you got it going, you got it going. We've seen him knock down a few threes. This time, a nice little head to shoulder fake, slides through the defense, and lays it off the glass with the finger roll. Again, he set the defense up with the head and shoulder fake because he knocked down a few threes. What's the coach saying? Get to him, get to him. Don't let him get the shot off. Gives the ball fake, gets in the gap, lays it off the glass.
When he was at Maine, he was a big-time scorer. He averaged 16 points as a freshman, and this season it's been a little bit of an issue for him getting into a rhythm. He's came in tonight shooting 27% from 3 from beyond the arc. So this is definitely a good sign for VCU if they can get him going. And as a team, if they start making their threes like they have in the second half, they become a totally different basketball team.
They've made 11 threes in this game. Meanwhile, George Mason just 2 out of 16. Reuter to Kyer. Livingston for 3. 2 for 17 from downtown. Now inside of 4 minutes and a 13-point lead for VCU. George Mason, for the moment, tied for the lead in the A-10 with just 1 conference loss. VCU just behind with a pair of losses. Shot clock to 7. Sims for 3. Rebound to Miller. George Mason needs some sense of urgency, and they got to heat up from deep. Livingston had it swatted away. Been that kind of night for the VCU defense and the Patriot offense.
Again, the backup, the subs. It's a minor thing, but excellent defense, that possession by P.J. Bird.
VCU back in control against Dave Paulson's Patriots. For their huge reason why Isaac Van with 21 points.
Look, they don't call it a team sport for nothing. You need everybody to pitch in at the right time, and this guy's been absolutely huge. He hasn't given you a steady diet of one thing. He's not just jacking up threes or not just putting his head down, bullying his way to the basket. He's been able to score each and every way possible, and he's been an extremely huge boost against this staunch defensive effort by George Mason.
And how about 21 points when you're shooting 75% from the field? Made 6 out of 8, and he has scored 30 points. That didn't happen in conference play, but 30 points in the non-conference schedule, so he can get hot.
You know, and you need that. I mean, you're not going to have, with scouting reports, you're not going to have your main guys carry you each and every night. You need other guys to step in. You need guys to be able to fill in when you don't always expect them to. And at this time of year, when you're a little bit over the halfway mark, and you start inching closer and closer towards the month of March, you need your players to step up and step up huge.
It feels like a long time ago. It wasn't that long ago here in the second half. It was all tied at 52. 23-8 run by VCU to take control. Now they're up 15. Reuter's been good when he's shot. They just need more of that. I don't think he's missed tonight. Reuter's now 5 out of 5 from the field.
I tell you what, after this game, Marcus Evans needs to take P.J. Bird out for dinner, because when he went to the side for about 10 minutes cramping, P.J. Bird came in and held the fort down and did a huge job.
Evans for three. No rush at all. Up 13 as we get close to the 2-minute mark. Santos Silva inside, push that lead back to 15.
You know what I love about what I see VCU doing? They're taking their time in the half court. They know right now they have enough points to win. So what they're doing, they're cutting the clock offensively. And they already do it defensively by picking up full, making you burn some time. They took their time that possession, took the clock down as much as they could.
And it's just demoralizing if you're George Mason, too. You played 25 seconds of pretty good defense. You had Marcus Evans spinning over here, going nowhere, and all of a sudden he finds Santos Silva for the layup. That hurts.
George Mason now with the bonus. Justin Cairo get to the line, and looking at his box score, wow, their leading scorers 1 for 10 from the field and 0 for 2 from the line. Trail by 15. VCU awfully close to pushing their home record to 11-1 this season.
Right now, if you're George Mason, you've got to start to go a little bit sooner in the shot clock. You're not going to be able to make your 5, 6, 7 passes in the half court as you generally would want. You've got to go early because the clock is as much as an opponent right now as VCU is.
Foul called against Miller. Mobley will go to the line. By the way, Justin Kier now 0 for 3 shooting free throws tonight. Run when the game was tied with a big three-pointer, and that really opened the floodgates for that 23-8 run that allowed them to get to this point. Calixt with the board, and here comes Javon Green. Ian Boyd for three. Long, and Evans with a rebound. Foul called against Kier. 18 points per game, a season low 5 points here tonight.
You know, if you're George Mason, you've won 5 games in a row coming into this game. You know, this is one of those situations, and it appears to be that VCU is going to hold on and win this one, that you don't let this loss turn into another loss, and a third loss. You forget about it, you move on. You played extremely well this season. You get back, you watch the tape, you lick your wounds, and you move on.
Other side, what did you learn about VCU tonight?
Their bench was huge, you know, which is what you need in the month of February moving into the month of March. You need your support guys to do just that, to support you in a huge way.
And it's the three-point shooting, too. If they're going to make threes like this, you know, they want to shoot them. Mike Rhodes wants his guys to shoot.
You guys talk about Dave Paulson's group licking their wounds. Here's what they have coming up. They're right back here in Richmond on Wednesday to play the Spiders. A couple of games at home against LaSalle and UMass.
So looking ahead, and you can never look at a schedule, especially in conference play, and say, oh, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. But when you look at Mason's schedule coming up, their next few games are against teams that have struggled so far this season. So, you know, you don't want things to linger. You don't want to point fingers. You pick your head up and go back to work.
Alex had a good night. 6 out of 8 shots. Inside a minute now. VCU started A-10 play strong. They won 4 out of 5 games. They've split the last 2. And on the brink of what would be a huge win, what will be a huge win against George Mason. They started the night 1 loss in A-10 play, tied with Davidson atop the league. Mobley said, why not another 3? Ian Boyd with the rebound. Javon Green misses, and that's a fitting last possession for George Mason to miss a 3. Tonight from long range, they were only 2 for 19.
You know, this was one of those games that when VCU, when they go back and they watch the film, they're going to look at the job that P.J. Bird did. They're going to look at the job at Michael Gilmore when he came in and knocked down shots. I thought the support system, the role guys stepped up huge in a game that was a nip and tuck, grinded out kind of game. They needed some boost. They needed a lift to come from other places.
George Mason, no field goals in the final 2 minutes and 46 seconds. Meanwhile, Isaac Van, Ron talked about the bench. He had 21 points for VCU. Final score here, the Rams 79 and the Patriots 63.